The first time she appeared in public, she didn't need to say a word. Her mere presence was enough to shake up social media, spark headlines, and turn the world's attention towards Syria. Latifa al-Darubi, the new First Lady, had emerged from the shadows of anonymity to take center stage in a newly reborn nation. Who is this woman walking beside the man who brought an end to the Assad regime? What does she represent for the Syrian people? And how did such a reserved figure suddenly become the face of a new beginning? To understand Latifa, one must first understand the collapse. At the end of 2024, Bashar al-Assad left Syria. Amid the collapse of his government, he fled to Russia with his family, leaving behind a wounded but not defeated nation. In his place emerged Ahmed al-Sharaa, a former rebel leader who for years was seen as a military commander but now serves as president. His rise to power was surprising, swift, and for many a long-awaited hope. But Ahmed knew that to build legitimacy, it wasn't enough to control military power. He had to win the hearts of the people, and on that political chessboard, the figure of his wife became a master move. Latifa al-Darubi is no upstart. She was born in 1984 in Al-Qaryatain, a town in Homs province steeped in history. Her family belongs to an ancient lineage respected since the Ottoman era. One of her ancestors, Ala al-Din al-Darubi, rose to become governor under the Sultanate of Abdulhamid II and briefly Prime Minister of Syria before being assassinated. Her lineage is intertwined with the country's history. Her ancestors also include religious figures, Quranic scholars, and epoch-making leaders. Her name, Latifa, means kind and elegant, and those who have known her assure us that those words fit her perfectly. She studied Arabic literature, earned a master's degree, and stayed away from the spotlight for years. Her marriage to Ahmed wasn't a scandal or a media event. It was discreet, traditional, almost invisible. When he fought in the mountains, she was with him. When he went into exile, so did she. The couple has 3 children, and although their private life is jealously guarded, the details that have emerged paint a clear picture. They are a family united by something stronger than politics. So far, if you're interested in this journey through the history of the new Syria and its First Lady, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel to continue discovering the human stories behind the power. Latifa's sister is married to Maher Mohammed Marwan, who was appointed governor of Damascus after Ahmed al-Sharaa took power. The family network and mutual trust appear to be fundamental to this new political era. But beyond blood ties, what was surprising was Latifa's emergence onto the international scene. On January 29th, when Ahmed was sworn in as president, the next day he appeared alongside a delegation of Syrian women from the United States. The event was planned as a signal. The new Syria would have a woman's face, but not just any woman's. Latifa didn't allow herself to be photographed. She didn't give speeches. She didn't occupy the center of attention. And yet, her presence sent a powerful message. Then came the real surprise. A video on social media showed her and her husband performing Umrah in Mecca, the first Syrian First Lady in decades to present herself to the world from the spiritual heart of Islam. The video spread across the Arab world in minutes. Her reserved gait, her well-placed hijab, her serene expression. She wasn't a celebrity, a reformer, or a media figure. She was a traditional woman, and that, in a deeply conservative Syria, was perceived as a statement of principles. After Saudi Arabia, she moved on to Turkey. There she met with Emin Erdogan, Turkey's First Lady. They discussed education, humanitarian aid, and the role of women in rebuilding a nation. In just a few days, Latifa transformed from an unknown figure into a symbol of a country searching for its lost identity. The inevitable comparison arose. Will she be like Asma al-Assad? The answer, for now, is clear: no. Asma, the so-called Rose of the Desert, was a modern Western-style First Lady educated in London. She wore her hair uncovered, spoke of reforms, and led high-profile humanitarian projects. For years, she was the friendly face of her husband's regime, until the conflict transformed her into a polarizing figure. In her later years, she was rumored to have control over the country's money, to make political decisions, to be much more than a wife. But all of that belongs to a Syria that no longer exists. Latifa doesn't seek that limelight. spotlight. She doesn't need it. Her strength lies in her silence. Her power lies in her image of simplicity. Dressed in modest abayas and covering her hair, she represents something Asma couldn't. A real connection with deep Syria, conservative Syria, the Syria that has survived the war by clinging to its traditions. This doesn't mean Latifa is a passive figure. On the contrary, her role, although discreet, will be key in the country's emotional reconstruction. She could spearhead aid programs for widows, initiatives for orphan children, religious education campaigns, and even become a figure of conciliation between the country's diverse communities. If Asma's power was built through the spotlight, Latifa's will be built on intimate contact with the people. The message is clear. The new government does not want to repeat the mistakes of the past. There will be no ostentation, no glamour. The First Lady will not be the face of an elitist regime, but rather the expression of a return to the values that many Syrians consider essential. Ahmed al-Shara has been clear in his statements. Latifa al-Darubi is his only wife. He has stated this firmly in recent interviews, dispelling speculation. But in a society where Islamic law allows up to 4 wives, rumors always find fertile ground. Some voices in the corridors of power wonder if this exclusivity will last, if, over time, we will see other female figures emerge around the president. However, for now, Latifa's place seems immovable. Her public image has grown rapidly, and her popular acceptance is evident, not through grand speeches or calculated appearances, but through something more subtle, more profound. There's something about her that commands attention without even raising her voice, a calm that feels like authority, an elegance that doesn't strive to stand out but inevitably imposes itself. It's the kind of presence that doesn't seek prominence but ends up setting the tone. Latifa hasn't been seen raising her voice or making headlines with scandals or provocative phrases. Her influence isn't measured in decibels or theatrical gestures. It's the influence of someone who walks with a firm step, someone so sure of herself that she doesn't need to convince anyone of anything. And in a country where power has traditionally been dominated by strong gestures, uniforms, and military symbols, Latifa's figure comes as a pause, like a whisper that interrupts the shout. The most curious thing of all is that she didn't seek this role. She didn't fight to be First Lady. She didn't design a strategy to get there. It was fate or circumstances that placed her at the center of a story much bigger than her. But once there, she has proven willing to take on the challenge, not by imitating past models or from a submissive stance, but by being authentic. She doesn't want to be another version of Asma al-Assad or any other classic figure of power in the Middle East. Her sights are set on something deeper, representing a Syria that wants to heal, that wants to rebuild, that seeks a new identity without denying its roots. And if she manages to remain true to herself, if she resists the pressure of the interests surrounding her, she could mark the beginning of a new era in the country's political and symbolic history. Not as a new Rose of the Desert, a title with too much emotional and political weight, but as a new symbol, one that is quieter, more intimate, but just as powerful, a symbol of dignity, resilience, and hope for a people who have been wounded many times, but who still want to believe that something different is possible. What do you think? Do you think Latifa can become an influential First Lady without losing her identity? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on what's next. Thanks for watching.